What is your horrible freshman roommate story? He was leaving dirty plates in his bed, covered with his sheets. When he was going to sleep, he just kicked the plates and didn't bother to clean them. That's so disgusting. When you have children, don't clean their rooms for them and don't tolerate filth either. This right here is the extreme result of a life of maid service from his mom. Left for class, but it got cancelled, and when I came back in the room my roommate was in my video game chair watching Lifetime with 1/4 of nighttime cold medicine next to him, and my camp blanket up around his neck. Conversation followed. Me, you naked under my blanket. Him, yeah man. Me, beaten off to Lifetime high on cold meds. Him, yeah man. Me, I'll be back in 10 minutes, don't be here. Him, yeah man. He brought a keyboard. He only know the first 50 seconds or so of the Star Wars Cantina song, but practiced those 50 seconds as loudly as possible for hours at a time. The Cantina song is longer than 50 seconds. The first night I met my freshman roommate, she introduced herself and said, completely seriously, have you seen that movie where one of the roommates kills himself and the other gets a free ride? Do you think that would really happen? She was always good at icebreakers. She was disgusting and a total slob and wouldn't let me clean her side of the room. It was always super cluttered with shit everywhere. Our room had a gross smell all the time because of her, so I finally broke down and decided to let her be mad at me and cleaned everything. I found cups, like 5 or 6, of partially drank spoiled, rotten, curdled chocolate milk. Plates of partially eaten moldy food. It was horrible. She got so pissed off that I cleaned it that she ended up moving in with another girl. I wasn't upset about it. She'd also have loud crazy six at any and all hours of the night, wouldn't lock our door, and I ended up getting some items stole. It was a mess. She got kicked out for failing, and the night before she left she got super drunk, threw up everywhere, and left me to clean it up. You know you're an adult when you're the one cleaning up the puke. What if it's your own puke? Then you're a functioning adult. I was in a small triple freshman year. Early on my roommate was extremely studious and would accept nothing lower than pretty much an A on everything. He would beat himself up if it wasn't good enough, and we would try to get him to relax a bit. Second half of freshman year he buys a new computer and WoW, refuses to go to class, and played WoW non-stop all night, and would sleep through the whole day. It was disrupting to me and my other roommate. He eventually ended up pretty much dropping out of school. I've never seen such a change around. He has actually gotten back on track though, and has been doing pretty well for himself. I had a sweet mate who turned into a WoW addict junior year. This guy was in the advanced honors program, but spent what appeared to be 100% of his time on WoW. I remember him trying to explain to us the deeply emotional experience he had of receiving an uber rare legendary something or other from his guild. They apparently dressed in tuxedos for the occasion. He dropped out. He still works as a ticket clerk for a movie theater over a decade later. Damn, that's deeply depressing. WoW claimed many victims in the 2004 to 2008 era. Edit, and my highest rated comment in months maybe years is a memoriam about those who fell to World of Warcraft. May those altered destinies lie in peace. Were me and my friends the only people who actually had fun with it? Such dramatic life-wrecking stories here. This is actually really sad. My roommate had epilepsy, and her mom was a Christian Scientist. Therefore, she was unmedicated and had seizures all the time. In the room, on the street, in class, she was always in danger and had serious brain damage because of this. I would watch while she seized and peed herself because I had no idea how to help her. Because Jesus saves your church money on renovations. I was friends with a girl a year behind me. Her freshman year she was randomly matched with a girl who one was convinced she was in a relationship with the lead singer of Tokyo Hotel, and had been for several years, but it was obviously some catfisher on the internet. They would Skype where only he could see her. His video would be blank for security reasons, and he told her they could never meet in person because of the media. And since he was always on tour she would Skype with him at all hours of the night to make up for the time zone differences. It was actually kinda sad/scary. Several people I know tried to explain to her that she was being taken advantage of, but she could/would not listen. Pretty sure she did stuff on camera for him and sent him money. 2 brought multiple bags from home stuffed full of her cat's hair and knitted tiny clothes/figurines/whatever out of it. My friend was of course very allergic to cat hair. Why would the lead singer of Tokyo Hotel need money from a college student? My freshman roommate lost her virginity the night before moving to her much older, very creepy, unemployed musician boyfriend in the hotel room that she was sharing with her mom and little sister, who were in the bed next to them. This guy basically lived with us on weekends. I had to always change in the dark because a strange creepy dude was lying there, usually butt naked. They had a lot of gross sex. She decided it would be funny to pants me during a 4 AM fire drill in front of the entire dorm, which was co-ed. I don't wear underwear to sleep. She failed to see how this wasn't hilarious. There were a million other things, but those stick out the most. Edit. Some grammar things, because I'm getting hate mail. I was tired, and on public transport people, okay. Ever present significant others are the worst. Unless they're cool, so then you just get another friend. Walked into my dorm room to find my roommate and her parents looking through my underwear drawer. They didn't even act apologetic. Her mom just commented on how cute my dinosaur underwear were. So weird. This isn't the worst thing here, but is possibly the strangest. One of my freshman roommates was a self-professed kleptomaniac. She got a huge thrill from stealing clothes from department stores, usually Nordstrom. In the first week or so of school, she went through her closest and showed us all of the clothing she had stolen. Plus she knew how much each item cost and how she'd swiped it. Thousands of dollars worth of nice clothing. She had so much that half of it still had tags on, and she never wore it, but she took it because she knew she could. Usually this theft involved carrying a really big purse, taking way too many items into a dressing room, and then emerging with one item in the purse, one to buy, and the rest to put back. Then if an alarm went off, they would assume it was just the item she had purchased, and let her leave. Half the time she returned the item she paid for soon after too. It got to the point where girls in the dorm would go to the mall with her, and they'd all pick out clothes they liked, and she'd go back on her own later, and steal them for them. It was crazy. And to my knowledge, she's still doing this, and hasn't been caught. She never seemed to steal from anywhere other than department stores, and none of my stuff ever went missing. So I guess she wasn't too bad of a roommate, really. Just a person of questionable morals. In high school there was a kid in my grade who did this. He thought he was so clever, but it turned out the store was just waiting until he stole enough to be charged with grand larceny instead of petty theft. Target will do this to you. They have a whole private professional investigative team that even helps the police at times when their workload is low. Before you get arrested at Target, they will know everything about you and have a whole case built. You usually already stand no chance the second you are arrested. My roommate had no sleep schedule. He also chewed loudly, played the bass, and watched anime without headphones at the same time at 3 AM. The very first weekend of my freshman year in college, my roommate comes back from a party at like 2 AM or whatever and proceeds to vomit on my ducking desk, which did contain my laptop computer on it. Jay, I know you use Reddit. If you're reading this, duck you. My name's Jay, and I had to do a mental check of my college life to make sure it wasn't me. It's not, I don't think. She was sweet as a peach to your face, but honest to God, couldn't stand not being the center of attention. Lied about insomnia to her teachers because she stayed up late playing video games and laughing super loud and calling her friends. Started seeing things the more time I spent with my boyfriend and not with her, and tried to, against campus policy, rewrite our roommate contract with our sketchy rap so that she could claim I was breaking our agreement and get me kicked out since I was no longer paying her any attention. I had one of those in my pod during a week. Pod equals like flatmates, same wing and floor of the building. 6 of us total. She was lovely at first, had a cute little sister, we hung out a lot. We didn't have a lot in common though, and had very clashing schedules. so I assumed she'd be like any normal person and accept that we could only really hand out on weekends. She was not a normal person. Stuff went missing from the shared kitchen, not just my stuff, mind you. She became super passive aggressive, started binge drinking and blaming me for not being there to stop her. I dismissed it. More stuff vanished, this time from bedrooms. My lock was broken too. She tried to blame me and get me kicked out. Luckily, we had a fire drill during which she left the door open and a whole load of stolen goods were found. Wallets, spoons, underwear, you name it, she stole it. She was there for less than 2 weeks and has to pay rent for the whole year for breaking the contract. This all happened in the span of 2 weeks, good lord. My sophomore year I lived in an apartment style dorm with 3 other roommates, one of which was 60. Let's call her Mary. Mary apparently couldn't live on her own because she suffered from PTSD from a car accident. Her daughter lived near to campus, but Mary didn't want to live with her daughter because that would be imposing. She would freak out and run to the RAF for everything. We were playing video games after class. That's not normal college behavior. We must be on drugs. We had a guy stay overnight. How dare our parents raise us like that? We would drink before we went out. We are in serious need of rehab. Doing laundry at 8 PM. She actually took our clothes out and threw them on the ground. Our and whole association were all completely fed up with her, but refused to do anything about it because of her age. We got the police involved in a few occasions for harassment issues, but they basically told us to suck it up and respect our elders. On our last night in the dorm she walked around with a cross reciting scriptures at us and telling us we were all going to hell. After a year with her, hell seems like a step up. Crazy that your dorm required you to live with an adult learner so much older than you. That just seems like a bad idea.